In other fast food news, this is our fast food news segment.
Fast food news, yeah.
Do we have production?
Do we have production for this? No. Damn it. Pulled Burger King commercial featuring Mary J. Blige singing about fried chicken wraps. So we have it.
What?
I guess Mary J. Blige said, yeah, I'll fucking sing about your chicken wraps for Burger King. Nice payday for her.
Chicken wrap.
And then what happened? Black people said, what the fuck you doing, Mary J. Blige? You know we don't like when people point out we like chicken.
Yeah, like a bunch of...
Is that what happened?
Yeah, so Burger King is doing this like campaign where they've got celebrities in it, and they like... It's for the new menu items, one of which is a fried chicken wrap.
And Mary Blige didn't like the fact that black people were eating chicken?
Well, Mary at first did. She enjoys a chicken wrap, I suppose, because she started singing about it.
Oh, well.
So this commercial came out on the internet, and then a lot of black journalists were saying, you know, Mary J. Blige is a respected member of the community, blah, blah, blah. I can't believe she was doing this.
And that's where black people need to fucking cut this shit.
Shut the
She's
fuck up.
advertising a product, which it's fair for fucking blacks to like it and whites to like it. So what is she singing about it? She's a black singer, so she's advertising for a product.
Yeah.
Torre said it was jarring.
What?
Torre's a douchebag.
Who?
That fucking asshole. What's he on,
Joe?
MSNBC?
Oh, is he
Yeah,
the one
he's-
that went at it with Piers Morgan recently?
Yeah, and he lost. Pierce smashed him.
I didn't hear that clip either. The
He's
one of
a
him going
douche.
at it with Piers.
We should play that clip.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we haven't yet.
Would like to
this
hear that.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's hateable.
What's wrong with black people liking chicken? Where does that come from? I'm very confused by that one.
I don't know where the stereotype comes from. Probably years ago, it just was what they ate.
What's wrong with that? And it's true
What's
to this
wrong with
day.
that?
When I remember one time I decided to take the local roads home from Nassau Coliseum, which was really stupid
Boy.
of me.
Uniondale.
It was amazing how many chicken joints I saw. It was amazing to me.
You will find a lot of fried chicken places in a lot of predominantly black communities. Absolutely.
So what's wrong with that? Does anyone know for real?
I don't know
remember where
what
it comes
is wrong
from.
with that.
When I worked at Pergament, New Brunswick, like George Street was kind of a rough area. So for lunch one day, I went down there with one of the black guys I work with named Brian, and he was a bald guy who was like a shit talk, like an angry black dude.
Yeah.
And all I remember about being in this chicken place, I was the only white guy, and he got into an argument with somebody, and as we walked out, he yelled, "And you better have a pistol." That's all I remember.
Really?
My guy I was with yelling at somebody else.
Wow.
We went back
Wow.
to Pergament. His nickname was Hook.
So
Hanging
once
out with a tough crowd there, Jimmy.
Well, it was just coworkers. I was the token fucking cab getter.
So once everybody started saying, you know, what are you doing, Mary? This is not good, blah, blah, blah. Then Mary said that she had not approved that version of the commercial that came out. So Burger King pulled it off their website and their YouTube, citing that it had not been properly licensed. So they didn't say this is bad racially, blah, blah, blah. They just said Mary didn't approve this version, so we're taking it down.
It was a fucking.
But you know why they took it
Let's
down.
hear the version.
This has to be awful. Let's see.
Right now,
Exciting things are happening at Burger King.
Welcome to Burger King.
Oh, what's in those new chicken snack wraps?
What's in the new
What's
chicken
in the new
snack?
chicken
I
wraps?
want to watch it.
Mary?
Everybody want a piece of my chicken. So fried
Wait now.
chicken, fried chicken, fried chicken.
Oh, okay. I am outraged then.
Oh, that is how a little racist.
You hear me?
No, here's the real version.
right,
Sorry for
let's,
that.
Chicken, fresh lettuce, 3 cheeses, French dressing wrapped up in a tasty flour tortilla, crispy chicken wrapped up in a
The new chicken snack wraps. Come and get it at Burger King.
flour tortilla.
I don't know
My
what the big
God.
deal is.
I don't either.
Why-
What version
why
didn't she
whatsoever.
like?
Why did Martin Luther King give his life? That's an outrage. This takes civil rights back 50 years.
But why would that be objectionable? Was it because there were all white people in the line and the black chicks
Obviously.
saying about question?
Wait,
Chicken?
If you can't see it, racist, Jim.
I don't
the
get
purpose
it.
of the commercial is obviously just to be like silly, like it just you wouldn't think that, but people described it as buffoonery, and when the word buffoonery is used to,
But it's not
So like
buffoonery.
Step and Fetch It,
Right, that's-
Uncle Tom.
Because
That's
she was
right.
singing about a product. She was singing about flour and tortilla. It wasn't like she was jumping up and down on the fucking counter going, "I love chicken."
Right.
She was
Right.
she was on a stage singing.
Sing about tortillas. The song sucks. How do you try to sing about
It's a
tortillas?
terrible song.
Awful.
but it's like supposed to be bad. I think it's supposed to. You know what I mean?
Right. It's kind of a goof, right?
Right, it's just a goof.
Yeah, it's a goof. Why would they? They're not seriously putting her up there with lights, singing about tortilla.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, when respected black people or black artists are accused of buffoonery. That's one of those words.
Kowtow
that's
to the
very
man,
like,
right.
Buffoonery.
oh shit.
And she's such a fucking weakling. She should have come out
and said,
and
fuck
said,
y'all.
fuck you.
Fuck
Shut
y'all.
the fuck up, my payday, motherfucker.
Let's,
Don't fuck with my money.
Fuck with my shit.
you got the clip of that guy that started it. What's his name again? Treyon?
Torre?
Torre?
Well, I have
Treyon.
this is the
Joe?
I have the Piers
Treyon.
Morgan thing.
Say it again.
Oops.
I heard
This
you
is the guy
first.
that started the whole thing?
Yeah, he gets very involved with black issues. It's coming in that chicken used to be way cheaper than beef.
Yeah.
If I was a Negro, I would own that shit. Like, look how smart we are.
Well, it's
you
not so
don't
much
thought
from-
chicken was cheap, but look how delicious
Opie,
it
it's
is.
not so much for being smart. It's the fact that the plantation owners and whatnot did not want to spend good money and resources on the slaves. So they would feed them cheaper food, of which would be chicken, which was actually the good part of the cheap food. Other parts would be like pig knuckles and bellies and stuff.
It
and they
became
call
soul
that-
food, right?
Yeah, they call that low on the hog,
Yeah,
as opposed to
chitlins.
living high on the hog, which is the good meat. That was up high on the hog and not low.
Is that what that means?
Yes, living high on the
Oh,
hog.
fuck.
And then living like low on
Okay.
the hog
But-
was all the crappy.
But the joke is on the massa because it tastes delicious.
I don't know about pig's feet. I ain't eating
Hey,
that
Pickled
shit.
pig's feet? That's, my name, that's the name of my first band in high school.
No, I didn't read it on Niggermania. So you people are out of your minds.
That actually sounds like a legit
I learned
explanation.
history from a cooking show.
Why are they out of their minds? They're just following your lead. They just
What?
assume. They just
no,
assume.
I look at every type of website. Why should I only look at websites that are deemed inoffensive? I look at offensive websites, garner information as to what some people's opinions and thoughts and horrific racism are, and then I go to other websites that counter that with their own horrific racism.
Well-rounded
I see hate everywhere.
Stormfront and fucking Niggermania. Here's my only issue with them. You can write what you want. Just use your name.
Oh, well.
Just use your name when you write it.
You know what, though? Too much persecution, even amongst racists. You can't, if you use your real name, you lose everything. I mean, it's a brave stance to make, but it's, yeah.
Well,
I understand your
There's
point.
nothing worse than a racist who's a coward and a racist, a closet racist who whispers naughty things. Hey, I don't like blacks. Me neither. I don't either. But keep it on the QT. Because you could go on that website under your own name and say stuff that you don't like about the black community. Nobody would persecute for you. They just don't. They want to go on and say nigger this and nigger that, and they want to be angry tough guys under fake names. They're the fucking worst.
Well, what if
With no consequence.
What if you
With no
want?
no
what if you
consequence.
want to express an opinion that is deemed racist? But in not just throwing around horrible epithets, but in a reasonable fashion. You're just using whatever opinions you have, whatever it is. And your name is tagged to it, and then your employer sees it. Now, just because you're exercising your freedom of speech, you should lose your job, which you absolutely would. The anonymous thing kind of comes with the territory because of the persecution you get for having an opinion. Good or bad.
It's a pussy move.
Yeah.
It really is.
But
Because, there's no political opinion, by the way, or opinion, because people bat around these opinions all the time.
Yeah.
On TV, no one's losing their job just for batting around an opinion. The thing is, it's not about the opinions, because you'll hear opinions about the black community being fucking irritating or whatever you don't like. That's not why they're hiding.
Oh, but I'm talking hardcore opinionated shit. Like, why shouldn't you be able to do that without losing your job?
I agree with you. I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
If you want to go into a public forum and you want to say something publicly, then you should say it publicly. And if it comes down to, because there could be a consequence to that, which is wrong, you should never lose your job. I don't care if you're a racist. I don't necessarily like racists, but you shouldn't lose your fucking job for it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's almost like...
But you will. See, we're not talking about what should happen. We're talking about what does happen. And if these guys put their name on there, they would absolutely lose their livelihood and, maybe family. But
a bunch of fucking pussies going online under fake names and just saying we hate niggers and this and that is fucking pussy.
I understand that part of it. But
That's what I object
there are
to.
certain people that go to websites that are deemed racist websites and post, believe it or not, some well thought out ideology.
Well, then how about you have to make that decision? How about you have to make the decision of of course you can have your opinion and you can discuss it with people. But if you want to go into a public place If you want to go into a public place and say things, then you have to realize that there's going to be consequences, which there shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Like, and then fight to have those consequences. You know what I mean? Like, I know what you're saying, but I never think anybody should get in trouble for voicing their opinion
don't
if it's done in a way that's acceptable.
I am a 100% freedom of speech
Me too.
guy. I mean, I don't see any fucking barriers or hurdles should be thrown in your fucking way when you're just voicing your opinion. No matter, and I honestly believe no matter how fucking heinous
I agree.
people find it, I think everything is fair game when it comes to speech. But it's not that way, and you definitely are sacrificing your livelihood if you do expose who you are in certain circumstances.
Like the Klan.
Well, like the Klan, but okay. And then let's look at some of the black hate sites that are out there. Those people can post their names, and you know.
Then the same goes for them. I have the same opinion of them.
Yeah.
I actually haven't been to those, but if they're going on under fake names, they're fucking pussies. They're fucking social pussies. They're not afraid of being beaten up physically, but they're socially cowards, where they want to talk a certain way and behave a certain way and give out certain. Because if you're going to Niggermania or Stormfront, those are not just sites where you're going to discuss political opinions. Those are hardcore sites. Be that guy. Fucking be
Yeah.
that guy.
Well, it's very hard to make yourself a martyr, which is absolutely what you would be doing. You'd be martyring yourself.
But if everybody stood up and said these things the way they feel, there's a lot more people probably than you think saying them.
That is the number one social taboo in this country, by the way.
agree.
So I don't think it matters how many people are on a couple of websites. I don't think that anyone has the power to get up there, and it would never be portrayed in an acceptable light on the news. But the fact of the matter is that even that speech is protected.
I agree.
So there shouldn't be consequence.
I 100% agree with you. I don't want to, even though I don't like what people say sometimes, I don't ever want them in trouble for it. But it's like, let's say back in 1990, before the internet, these guys would have meetings or get together, but they all knew who each other was.
Well, back then, what you would get are these anonymous flyers that would end up on people's
Yeah,
windshields
again, another
in
fucking-
parking lots with racist diatribe on them. But even then, it goes by the same thing. And indeed, when you talk about the Klan, the same thing with the hoods. The reason is these were people in the communities that really did not want to
They were
be
cowards.
exposed to
Cowards?
what they were doing.
Exactly. They were fucking cowards. They wanted to, but they wanted to. It wasn't like one guy with a Klan hood would walk into a black neighborhood, just didn't want to be exposed. They would make sure there was a 50 on one. They were fucking. They're just cowards. Post under your real name. I don't care what it is. We're not in communist China. I know that there might be fucking ramifications for it,
But the ramifications far exceed what is being done, is what I'm saying. You can talk about other things, not race-related, which I said is the number one social taboo, racism and race discussions. But let's say something else that isn't quite as gets people fired up. You could use your real name and be the person that really does want to stand up for that. And make a change. A lot of people are doing with the Occupy. They use their real names and whatnot. And, you know, they're looked at as assholes and shitheads by a lot of people. But that's something you can make a stand and say, hey, I want everybody to come forward and back me on this. And let's make a change. You can't do that with something so horrific that people see as racist.
Then, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But then don't go on and play phony brave. Don't go on and use rhetoric like brave rhetoric. They're not just voicing opinions. They're like, these fucking like they're talking like a guy who would say that to a guy. It's almost like going on to a UFC site anonymously and go, this fucking pussy can't fight. And it's like, well, you wouldn't say that, so don't say it under a fake name. It's like the message boards that we deal with on a much different level. They're not afraid of social persecution.
Yeah.
People just get very brave in anonymity.
But it's just too much consequence for just expressing an ideology, your freedom of speech. The consequence far exceeds the fucking.
Then go on and say that. Go on and say I'm scared of the consequences, so I'm going to go into this name. But they don't acknowledge that fucking part of it.
I have seen people that do say that. I've seen people that say, I would love to voice opinions, but I have a job. You know, there are people, I think, with like very radical ideology on any subject that know they cannot say things, and I don't think just because they post or say things anonymously that necessarily makes them instantly a coward.
I do.
Really?
I hate anonymity. I've never once, and I know I make my living talking, but I've never once had the desire to go anonymously somewhere. I've never wanted to do it. I figure if I'm going to say something, I have to say it. And if I get in trouble for it or whatever, but anonymity like that, I fucking despise.
I understand. I understand you 100%. I just, in real world, you know, in the real world, it doesn't work. It doesn't work because there's too many people that do not understand our constitutional rights and do not understand that your right to horrific opinions and ideology and speech should have zero consequence except for the actual consequence. If you want to say something like that and you decide you're walking around and a black guy wants to come up and punch you in the fucking face, hey, that's the consequence that you've decided you want to put out there that might happen to you. But you should not lose your job based on
I agree.
on your ideology and your speech, unless you're bringing some horrid thing into the workplace.
But most of them don't. I think the majority of people, they say they don't want to lose their job. But most times what they're really afraid of is just the black coworker seeing them and putting that opinion with that face.
No, it wouldn't be.
But that's what it is. It's not necessarily about losing the job for a lot of them. It's just they just don't want the people that they know to know that they feel that way.
Again,
so they're
the
fucking
hoods.
pussies.
You're right. Again,
they're
it's the
fucking pussy. You know, they want to spout off really loud, but they don't want people looking at them knowing that was the guy that said it.
I just don't think that's everybody. I don't think it's everybody, and I don't think you can put the 100% coward label on anonymous speech.
Whistleblowers are one thing, but when you're just going on and shit talking, which is what most of them are just doing, again, I firmly believe you have the right to do it, and I don't want to see you penalized for it.
Yeah.
But I hate when they use fake fucking name. I detest that because they usually find out an empowering name.
Right.
You know, race fighter. Whoa. You know what I mean? Black crusher. Yowza. This guy's fucking brave. You know? That's what is again, they're playing the equivalent of an online game. But they're being phony brave.
Well, Jimmy, I guess what are we gonna have to do?
Blow each other.
Completely agree.
We're just gonna have to agree to blow each other.
I just hate it. I hate it. On
Yeah.
Twitter,
Oh, I know. You always have.
Hate it.
You've always had that opinion, and you know what? I can't argue with your opinion on that. But
There's
again,
people that can't even use their real names when they're trashing us.
That's what I'm saying. It's the same mentality.
I see what Ant's saying.
Well, because we would persecute
but
Sam.
even on a low level,
my job.
but even on a low level, they're not brave enough to use their real names.
And that's what bothers me. And to me, there's nothing wrong with going on online to a website if you don't like blacks and saying that. Like, I really believe that, too. Even though I wouldn't agree with you, I have no issue with that because you're allowed that opinion. You're allowed that fucking opinion. But what do we do? It's like, because there's penalties for saying things where there shouldn't be, do none of us just say anything?
Well, you do. I think you got to dance around things sometimes. I think you got to be a little creative. But there are other people that want to delve into it a little deeper with a little more detail. And in those situations, you would be totally persecuted.
And there's plenty of people that go on sites and talk about abortion and religion.
Oh, right.
And very, very controversial subjects. And in this age of the internet, because we very rarely, how did we do it anonymously before just firing out letters or secret meetings?
Actually, a Sharpie on the bathroom wall.
Right.
That was anonymous.
That's what this
Write
is.
whatever the fuck you want on there, you know. No one's going to know.
And you talked among yourselves.
In school, it was on your desk.
But
The guy that sits here during third period sucks my dick. Fuck you, I'll kick your ass. Who are you?
I wrote that.
Fuck you, asshole.
I wrote that and I was in third period.
By the way, to Ant's point, the Facebook password thing is gaining some fucking momentum.
Is it?
That's sickening.
I got a tweet from Pat from not Pat from Menaki, excuse me, Pat fucking Duffy, and he said his maybe you could call in the show. He says his girlfriend got fired because she refused to give up her Facebook password.
Wow, really? So it actually happened? Well, she probably has a case at this point.
He
It
was
hasn't
really.
been,
let me see if I can find the tweet.
get yourself a lawyer. Start litigating, motherfucker.
Yeah, it was a DM. So he wrote. So my girlfriend got fired for the content of her Twitter. It goes back to Ant's point, the consequences for just basic shit.
Yeah, there's a prime example. Now you got your Twitter, you got your Facebook. You don't want to be anonymous on that. You want to share some things, your ideas, pictures, whatnot. How come you have to face consequences based on? And it doesn't have to be race; it could be anything.
That's sickening.
That your employer
It should-
deems. Yeah,
Terrible. That's
yeah.
terrible.
It should be just the type of job you're doing at the office.
What kind of job wants your fucking Facebook
A lot
So
of
password?
now,
them.
what if
More and
creatively,
more.
what if creatively, artistically, whatever, you want to share something that would be deemed offensive to an employer, and you should, just so you don't come off as a coward, should post your name anyway, or maybe you should have a pseudonym that you could then put your work out there and not be persecuted for it.
Right, this is a big
You know?
issue.
I don't think it's a coward in every circumstance. What I'm saying.
I mostly do because they're not the opinions they're expressing. The basic opinions are normally not offensive opinions. They're opinions that are fairly, and most again, let's just say they're opinions that are fairly allowable and fair. I mean, by allowable, I mean you're not going to get in trouble for them, even if they're socially unacceptable. But that's not what they're doing. They want to go on and pretend to be this guy, and I just hate that because again, they want to go on and go, he's fucking. It's like they want to say it in a way that they wouldn't dare say it publicly. It's not the opinion like saying, hey, look, why are blacks fucking behaving like this and running in and doing these flash mobs? Jim Norton say that. The fucking mayor of Philly said that.
Yeah.
They can say that, but they don't want to say that.
Right.
They want to say, how come these fucking nigger? But they don't want the consequence of saying that. So it's not the opinion. It's they want to fucking brave it up and say it as aggressively. It's like if you want to do that, fair enough, do it. But fucking deal with it.
Let me get to this. So Pat fucking Duffy on Twitter without the G's. So my girlfriend got fired for the content of her Twitter. Oh, this
What, a
is different
picture
than
of
the
her
Facebook.
kissing him after he ate shit.
This is different than the Facebook thing, but in the same fucking area, obviously. Didn't say anything bad about the company or her coworkers, just spoke like an adult. So fucked up, man. They're going to be eventually censoring people in their own homes. Sorry to bother you. I want to eat shit soon for your show. No, sorry to bother you with it. Just thought you'd get it. So we got Pat Duffy on the line here.
All right.
Pat, what did your girlfriend say on Twitter?
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey, Pat.
I don't listen. Just first and foremost, I don't want to put too much detail because I feel like they're watching me too, so I don't want to get in trouble. But I guess the other day was National Cleavage Day on Twitter or some other hashtag thing that they do.
Right.
And she posted a picture of her tattoo, which is this old school pinup girl, and she's got a big set of tits, and she put a picture of that, and later that day they called her into the main office and they had that picture on the desk, and they're like, are you this person in real life? Because we don't want you to work for us. This is the person you are outside of work.
What the fuck does that
Hold
mean?
on. What kind of job does she have?
Wow, that's a lawsuit.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, she takes care of adults with developmental disabilities.
All right, well, that would
Oh,
explain her
boy.
attraction to.
Yeah, but what does she do for work?
She doesn't want old guys dropping of heart attacks.
But to me, I think Ant's right. That should be a lawsuit. That's sickening that she should absolutely be able to do this. There should be no
She's
penalty.
doing
at
her
all.
job well and stuff. And what she does outside of work, especially if it's not, drive-by shootings, that's fine.
And this is where, when Pat's talking about, when you're, and even Ant, even to your point, this is where we don't defend each other. And this is where we as a country stink. Because back in the old days, as much as I had certain problems with the forefathers, they stuck up for each other.
Right.
I mean, they kind of banded together, and this was what we're doing.
Against the blacks.
Yes, fair enough, as we should have. But this is where we're all frauds.
Yep.
I think the guys should defend each other. Like the guys on Stormfront or whatever should defend those guys on those black sites' right to say what they want. If we're living in a true democracy and freedom of speech is truly valued, if everybody stuck up for each other's rights, we would never have penalties.
Right.
Because we would allow. So we're all fucking. It's kind of a bigger picture thing where we just let each other get in trouble. But if a guy's a radical fucking black Muslim and he hates whitey, I never want to see that guy get in trouble.
No,
and I would defend that guy's right to say what he wants.
Believe me, I enjoy reading the militant black websites too. I enjoy reading them because they're so outrageous. I find them fun.
Yeah.
But I also find them educational. You kind of see what the extremes on each side are thinking.
If we weren't the type of country that just let each other swing with our dicks in the wind, if we were honest and really believed that free speech should come without penalty, there wouldn't be penalties.
Right.
Because employers would know that the backlash for penalizing unpopular speech was a horrible backlash.
But we love freedom of speech when we agree with it.
When it's ours.
Oh, when it's our speech, boy, will we say, hey, freedom of speech. And then the first people that turn on something that they find offensive or repulsive, then they're like, "That can't get that off! Fire them! Do something!"
Most people don't.
You pussies.
Most people in this country don't like freedom of speech.
No, they don't.
They
hate it.
They think they do, but they
want
prove time and time again they don't
They
like
want it for them and everyone that thinks like them.
See, that's why it's so painful when someone says something you don't agree with, that you defend their right to say it.
Always.
You have to every fucking time.
Always.
It's hard. Trust me, it's hard sometimes. A lot of these radio guys that we've supported over the years, I fucking hate their guts. I do.
Yeah.
But you have to defend their right to say their shit.
Every time you should defend it. Whether you agree with it or not. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's easy to go, oh, good, that guy's going to get fired, and I hope he does for what he said. Yeah, that would be the easy thing to say. Getting back to courage. The courageous thing is to stick up for a guy that you fucking don't agree with.
Look at the Westboro Baptist Church. I mean, as
Thanks, Pat Duffy.
repulsive as they are, I think they're the worst people in the country.
Oh, yeah.
I do think that there is a necessity to them because they test our freedom of speech.
Right.
And if we can tolerate that as a country, and we do.
Repulsive
it's
and heinous.
repulsive speech.
That's a tough one, man, too.
It's a tough one because they're going to
Really?
soldiers' funeral. Like,
it's horrible.
It is a tough one. That challenges what you're supposed
It's
to do.
horrible what they do.
but
yes.
they are what they do, at least in a social medium,
Yeah.
is what freedom of speech is for. It's for repulsive, disagreeable speech to be allowed within certain constraints, meaning that you can't just
Yeah.
again, you can't yell fire in a movie theater. So they're good. They should be the barometer. Like, we tolerate that. So a bunch of guys being racist on a black site or a white site should absolutely be fucking allowable.
Is there any other example besides fire in a movie theater?
I know.
Yes, inciting people to riot.
Yeah.
And what's the other one? Like defamation and slander is not covered.
Right.
There's a few things like that aren't covered. There's not many.
And how many
Yeah.
people didn't yell fire in a movie theater because they weren't totally sure, and they didn't want to get in
Smelling
trouble?
smoke.
Yeah,
There's
like I don't know. I've learned my whole life not to yell fire in a movie theater.
There's a.
I might go to prison for this if
Yes.
I'm not right.
Well, they said movie house, I believe, in the old
Yes,
days.
the movie house.
And how many people have misinterpreted that and been let go from their job at Lowe's and thought the manager was wrong? He said I was fired from the movie theater. No, that's not. You're getting it wrong. You can't sue him for that. I'll boo myself.
I hope Pat Duffy, if that's the facts that Pat laid out, I hope his girlfriend sues.
I
man.
agree.
You know, I hope that happens. Let's break. So what happened with the chicken thing? We're all good. Mary J. Blige.
They pulled it down. They're not.
Yeah, she's a chicken.
It's not part of it.
She just should have allowed it to be the fucking commercial. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, come on.
But these guys can go on. These black guys, whatever his name is, Touré or whatever, who's a douche. But he should be able to say what he
Yeah,
wants.
of course. But Piers, I guess, slapped him down.
Yes, he did.
He did slap him down.
Joe Touré.
It's the third time I said
I know.
it. How terrible.
Just the silliness of it.
Of course it's dumb.
Touré. So what did he rip something in half?
Hip hip hooray.
How about to a B? We could go all the way down to Z. I got 26 of these. Look at Sammy over there digging.
No, don't do it.
Oh,
fuck.
fine to look at him. He's
Not again.
He's tussling his hat.
Before,
Oh, you got
Good.
shot?
Are you happy that Josh got shot?
Yeah. Before the show came on, he said the C on my baseball hat was for "Come here."
Come here, you. Let me talk to you.
I would like to hear a little bit of this guy.
It's a long clip.
Touré.
Could we throw it through a filter and edit it a little bit?
Phil Littlefer.
It's like 8 minutes long.
Yeah, I just want to
man.
hear a little race
Yeah,
baiting.
we'll do it after the break. Also, Eugene Levy's coming by today, and Maggie Grace from Taken.
Yes,
and
you're,
Lost.
she's
and Lost.
yeah, she was.
She was the one
in
that ran
Lost.
funny in Taken.
Yes.
Dare we
Yeah.
bring it up?
Yes.
Dare we bring it
we,
up?
we will absolutely bring it up.
All right.
Yeah.
And maybe we talk about Augusta next. There's problems down there in Augusta.
Just
Somebody said directly threatening the president, too. That's obviously not allowable.
Oh, well.
Yeah, of course.
Can't do that.
Can't do that.
And, yeah, all right.
The Opie and Anthony Show on Sirius XM.
Are we on the air right now? Are we on the air?
Oh, you guys are on the air.
You guys on the air right now?
Oh, we are on the air.
We're on the fucking air.
What are you guys doing? Are you on air?
I can't tell you how many guests actually asked us, are we on the air? I don't know if that's good or bad.
Are we about to go on?
We're kind of on, is what we do.
We're not on the fucking radio.
Yeah, we do that.
Are we on radio?
Yes. We're on the radio right now.
We just bring it in and let it roll.
On the air right now? Are we on?
Yeah, we just
straight in. Straight
Are we on? Yeah, we are.
Are we actually on the air right now?
Yes, we're on the air.
Set up a sign, a red sign or something.
Sirius XM. The Opie and Anthony Show.
You got Kentucky Musket in Louisville. Sorry. I got food.
I know, right? I got my soupy.
Well, Kentucky Musket in Louisville writes, I yelled fire in the theater watching Backdraft. I didn't get in trouble. Very good.
And someone tweeted me and said that freedom. They said that it doesn't matter inciting people to riot. Any political speech could incite people to riot. It has nothing to do with free speech, but it does. It's in there. And it's not about a political speech motivating people. It's when you're up there encouraging people to commit violent acts. I don't know what the exact thing, but it is in there.
I think any speech that would get a group holding pitchforks and torches riled up, that would probably be inciting.
Yeah, I don't know what the line is, but it is in there, sir.
And it would have to be, I guess, discussed and, I think if you were actually arrested for that, you could probably get away with saying it was freedom of speech, but...
In many cases, I mean, look, when's the last time somebody was arrested for inciting a person to riot?
Yeah, and there's been some gatherings that have been pretty...
Except at my shows, because I'm a riot.
You are a regular riot. A riot. I'm a riot, Alice.